Don't look at me like that, Pete. You've been here before. In fact, you were one of the first. You were my first, Peter Vu, my first podcast interview. Don't say that. Well, it's true. And that music just brings me, it just does it. What are they? This is Wise Words, everybody. Welcome. Huey's my name, a member of the comms team. If you've seen or listened to Wise Words before, we just give a little bit of a window into Wise Employment, both the work we do, customers we work with, big organisations, small organisations. We've got a cast of thousands in here today. Remarkable stories, each and every one. Peter Vu, the face of the tram. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks, Andrew. How are you?
So good to have you here. And I must say, I mean, fashion's always been your thing, but you are really stepping it up at the moment.
Am I?
Have you made a conscious effort since starting at BDO? I mean, it's a really high-powered consultancy. I mean, there's a lot of flashy suits getting around. Have you just leveled your game up a little bit?
I think that's probably one of the best parts of my day, just waking up and like, oh, what am I going to wear today?
Yes. Have you got a sponsor yet?
No.
Well,
let's get that going.
I reckon we might be able to get it going, because if we just, if Brad can just switch over and we can just get a bit of a window before we introduce Daria and Jess. This is all about you, Pete. A couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Oh my goodness me. Who's that guy up there?
I don't know.
It's not a trick question, Pete. That is you. And your chair, and you're looking amazing.
Yeah, it still feels weird.
Corporate tax graduate at BDO.
Yep.
Have you got like a big have you got a business card yet?
No.
Pass the cards. Yeah.
So what is it like you've got all digital? So Jess is from BDO and Daria is from GradWISE. G'day guys, we'll get to you in a little bit. It's great to have everyone in the studio all together. But Pete, that's a big title. If you did have a card, I'm not sure it'd fit.
I mean, just look at my resume.
which GradWISE possibly help you bring together.
Exactly.
And if people are looking for resume support, they can drop into their local WISE employment office and get all the help they need.
Yeah, nice.
Because we've got like an AI-inspired tool now in Tunnel which can help people. I know, Jess, we were talking about AI. We can read it. We get it. But just... Mate, so for those who aren't familiar, it's all over the website. It's going to be all over our socials. The tram launch was great. So it happened around about a week ago now.
Yeah, about a week ago.
We were all out there.
Yeah.
Celebrating the glory it's a glorious looking tram. The messaging is clear. If you need a hand, if you're a graduate, you've got some challenges going on in your life, disability, mental health, GradWISE is here to help. And would you have thought when you reached out to the team at GradWISE to kick things off that you'd be the face of a tram for 3 months?
Oh, no way. I think when I started with GradWISE, I was just looking for help, with my career and where it was going. But now that I'm on the tram, I'm happy to help GradWISE with putting out their name and making sure that other students with disabilities are able to get out of their comfort zone, try GradWISE, apply for companies and get their career going.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Pete. We're going to have to get you on a billboard next, or maybe we'll do a commercial in the middle of the Olympics. Just a very, very funny story before we do chat to Daria and Jess, who have been very patient. So we're saying goodbye to each other. You've got a driver. Your driver rocks up. He told us he used to work at Yarra Trams. He gets out. He takes a photo. I could see him taking the selfie. And then you jump in the cab. And what happens?
So on its maiden voyage, pretty much. So we were driving off, and then the tram comes up next to us. And then I was sitting next to the tram. It's like the face was covering the whole window, and then we had to wait for the tram to pass.
You were waiting at the lights as it came out of Q Depot, and I was just sitting there going, I wish I had a camera. Yeah. What a moment.
I did take some photos of it.
Oh, I've got no doubt.
I was in the taxi, yeah.
And what did the taxi driver say? Because you use, what's your driver's name? We'll give him a cheerio. Michael, you use him all the time.
Yeah.
What was he?
I don't know. I think he was lost for words. So was I, so fair enough.
You would have been. You're a ripper, Pete. We'll tell a little bit more about your story. But Daria, you're from GradWISE. You've made the trip down from Sydney today, which is your home base. Can you just give us a bit of a window into your life? I know you're a ballroom dancer.
I am.
Are you happy to talk about that?
Yeah,
Because I think
of
when
course.
we first had a chat, I've only been here a couple of months, so when we first had a chat, you were going to regional Victoria because
I was, yeah.
WISE Employment supports you to follow your passions professionally and personally. You were down here for dancing contest.
I was.
A ballroom dance.
For a show.
A show. That's right. You went on a national tour.
I did. Yeah. So I was a competitive ballroom dancer for quite a long time. I retired at a very ripe age of 26.
So you're just way too young to retire. I would have thought ballroom dancing is a thing you could do until you're a little bit older. No?
Well, I still teach and I perform, so I'm coaching the next generation of competitors and performers. But yeah, I'm really lucky. So we work flexibly. So I was able to work remotely whilst I was here in Victoria, touring, performing in the evenings and still working in the daytime, supporting the team. So yeah, very, very fortunate.
And you're doing some great work.
We are doing great work.
I mean, you're not one to pat yourself on the back, but Hewett and the GradWISE team, give us a bit of rundown of how the sort of, I suppose it's a product or a service that we offer at WISE, how it's grown in the time that you've been here.
Well, actually, just a little side kind of story. So on Fridays, we do a Friday Feels session. We talk about things that we're grateful for with the whole team, share stories of success from the week that was. And last week on Friday, we came up with a tagline for our team. And it's great people, great food, and exceptional work. So that basically defines who we are, what we do, and what we love. But our team is a team of 9 at the moment. So we're spread across Sydney and Melbourne. And we have a team of career coaches, so 7 coaches, many of which Peter has met and worked with.
Cody,
I
think, joined us on one of the first podcasts and been working with Pete recently.
Yeah. And the program has been live now since 2018. So the first university that we kicked off with was actually Swinburne. That was our pilot university that helped us to build the program. Yep. And since then we've expanded out to 17 institutions. But we service students from all over Australia, from most universities actually, many of which we don't yet have formal partnerships with, but students inquire and connect with us out of choice. We service about 350 students at a time every single year. And that's both commenced caseloads through government funding, but also we're really fortunate because we do a lot of pro bono work, and I think that that's really meaningful for us.
It is. And WISE Employment is a not-for-profit as well. So that's why we're able to do the pro bono stuff, because we do have a fund which we invest in ourselves that supports people like Peter.
Yes.
And the reason we're giving this background, and again, we talked a little bit off air, don't think it's controversial, but when we chatted to Jess, who joins us from BDO, who employed Pete, provided him with a counter offer after he went for a number of different internships, and not surprisingly, he had a few offers on the table from different organisations. Pete, you weren't familiar with GradWISE, Jess?
No, I'd heard of WISE Employment, but I had no idea Peter was being supported through WISE. So yeah, it was a pleasant surprise, but for me, I think Peter was just doing his own thing and succeeded. Yeah.
So I wasn't sure whether we should talk about it, but I think we should, because I suppose that's another thing maybe we have or haven't done well at WISE, is really been all about self-promotion. So I think our leadership is quite humble. We like to support our customers and be really customer-centric in our approach. But this highlights that we've placed someone and we've done such a great sort of covert job of it that Jess, with the recruitment team at BDO, wasn't even aware that Pete was supported by GradWISE.
Yeah, and I think it's not unusual. And I think for a few different reasons, some of them are challenges that we've had to overcome over time. So when we first launched the program in 2018, many of the students that we were working with were quite concerned about disclosing disability to their employers.
That's a good point.
And it was generally the case that we were building our employer relationships only in the instance where we were advocating on the students' behalf, because oftentimes they didn't feel confident or comfortable to be able to do so themselves. The great thing that's happened over time, and it's also through our incredible alumni network, which is now something that Peter's a part of, is students are getting much more confident to speak about their disability and request for adjustments and for equitable recruitment practices. So they're doing a lot of that work themselves, which means that we're not advocating on their behalf. And to me, that's a success, because ultimately we want to help people independently career manage. But the challenge is that then we may not have the opportunity opportunity to connect with some potential industry partners and showcase the other side of our work that we do, because we do have quite a profile in supporting employers through diversity, disability and inclusion training, supporting them with equitable recruitment practice, implementing adjustments and workplace accommodations as well, which you may not be familiar with.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. And it's definitely something since we've been aware that we're like, oh, how else can we partner more officially? So, yeah. It's been good.
I think I saw a LinkedIn post, Jess. I mean, you can talk to us. Why don't you just talk to us a little bit about BDO's recruitment? So a little bit about your role.
Yep.
I can sense an accent, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. From
English.
WA or... Oh. I use that one all the time, Pete, don't I? It's either WA or Adelaide. But clearly you're from England, yeah.
Yep.
How long have you been here for?
Been 9 years now, so
Okay.
Melbourne is home. No going back as far as I'm aware, but you never know. So yeah, I've worked at BDO now for 2 years.
Okay.
Or just over, in the senior talent acquisition business partner role.
Another big title, Pete. Good luck putting that on a business card.
Might be why we don't have them. And basically I look after all early careers talent for Melbourne office. So that would be including graduates, vacationers, which is our work experience program that Peter originally came in through. And we also hire undergraduates, so students who will work part-time whilst they're finishing their study.
And you've been in recruitment for you've been with BDO for 2 years, but has recruitment been your thing in terms of your role of choice for a while?
Started in England in recruitment, and then more here, worked with a lot of international students, supporting them into internships across Australia. And then just before BDO, I worked for Victoria Police in their recruitment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you've obviously had a lot of exposure to some of the things Daria was talking about in terms of diversity, inclusion, working with people from diverse backgrounds.
Yep.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because like I said, the LinkedIn post I saw that featured Pete, diversity is key from what I could see.
Yeah. BDO, we really value kind of a diverse culture, and we're pretty proud of the culture we've got so far. I think in terms of what we're kind of focusing on is just creating that inclusive culture and making sure that everyone, despite who they are or what they bring to us, is pretty safe and comfortable with us. So I'd say that's probably our main focus. Yeah.
And super smart people.
Well, what can we say?
Oh, I think that comes second, right?
Come on, Pete. There's only so long you can be humble, mate, before you start to realise that you've got your head on a tram that's going around Melbourne down beautiful St Kilda Beach. Yeah. We're trying to get some drone footage of it, but we're not having much success because we think that would just be the cherry on the cake. If you just had for the rest of your life to show the kids, family, have a look at me. What a legend. You're being very, very quiet there, Pete, but I need to get a window into, you've been there now a month.
Month,
So
yeah.
1 month, 1 day.
Exactly a month.
So you started 1st of July.
Yeah.
You said you've kind of been eased into it. Have they?
Yeah. First couple of weeks was just easing into it, like you say. Even now, I feel like I'm still settling in. But after a month, I'm starting to get like a lot more work. I think last week I was so busy that I had to cancel plans on the weekend because I was so tired. And today, you chose a bad day for this because first of the month is our client billing day.
Oh no!
So it's a pretty hectic day in the
I mean,
office.
you can blame it on Huey and Jess is here. He'll be right.
Yeah.
Well, how's it? So it is your first real crack at a full-time gig. For people who aren't familiar, they can get a taste of your backstory, Pete. You've been through some fair challenges, but fair to say you've come out of it with an A+, or I don't know what the TER version is, or what ATAR or whatever it is, high distinction. It would be tiring, I imagine. I mean, it's tiring for anyone, let alone someone who's been impacted by some of the challenges you have.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but I think I would just have to get used to it. I have to remind myself like every day that it's only been a few weeks, and this is long term. So even things like when I'm being taught how to do things at work, I'm like, oh, I've got to remember how to do this because I'm not just here for a month like I was here last time. I'm here to stay. So I've got to understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I think that just comes with time. Yeah.
What are some of the cutting edge things that BDO are doing in or around diversity and recruitment, Jess? Question without notice. Like obviously, if you've got a passion for it, there's obviously some adaptation that the business has got to make in terms of, whether it's someone like Pete or some multicultural backgrounds.
I think our workforce is pretty diverse as it is, and I think culture is probably one of the main focuses in making sure that we're making everyone feel comfortable. We're a pretty value-led company, so values is pretty heavy in everything that we do. One of them being human and just accepting people for who they are and what they bring. We appreciate everyone's uniqueness and really appreciate diversity of thought and things like that. Probably about 6 months ago, we hired a inclusion program manager. So her focus has been to come in and really drive that and have someone that's really focused on doing that. We've also got a culture council that have been set up, and it's driven by our executive partner, who is kind of spearheading, kind of making sure people are challenging what we're doing and not just kind of settling for where we're at now, but knowing that we've still got things to improve, and that's just going to be a continuous kind of journey.
I probably just glossed over it a little bit, but can you talk, for people who mightn't be familiar with BDO as a consultancy, sort of similar to sort of KPMG, that sort of thing? So you've got, same but different. Yeah. Excuse me, but you've got partners. You've got partners within the organisation that are sort of sharing the success and the client partnerships that you build. Can you talk a little bit more about BDO, who they are and what they do?
So we're a professional services firm. Typically have your major accounting service line, so your audit, tax, business services. But we also have an advisory service line, which covers things like consulting, digital and tech advisory, more corporate finance, a few different teams like that. But yeah, we're structured with kind of that partner level structure, but yeah, we're fairly all over Australia. So in Melbourne, we've probably got 400 staff.
All of them are pretty close to seeing the tram, Pete. I understand the 109 tram goes pretty close to the offices at the Docklands.
Docklands, yeah. We were actually talking about it yesterday, my team. Let's organise a work from the trams day.
Yes. I want to be a part of that. I'll bring my tax return. I'm not corporate, but you might be able to help me. What are the career pathways for you, Pete? So when you were looking at a number of different options, you did get a few different job offers. People can go back and have a listen to your first podcast, which is on YouTube if they want to find out more. But what's the career path look like for you? Like, are you hoping to be a partner, exec partner? What tipped you over the edge in terms of choosing BDO?
I guess a few things. I guess I'll go back to what we were saying about culture before. I remember when I was there during the vacation program, we did this. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a cultural session.
Cultural connection. Afternoon tea.
Yeah.
I organised.
We all.
Maybe you could do that on the tram.
Like all the vacationists, I think there were like 6 or 7 of us. Brought something with that told each other about our culture or where we came from, and I think that spoke a lot about how BDO values, diversity and different frames of mind and people.
What did you take?
I didn't bring anything from my culture or anything. I actually brought my book that I wrote, that I published, and I was like, if there's anything that you want to know about me and where I come from, it's probably in this book.
Give the book a plug, Pete. That's when you thought someone couldn't be doing any more with their life. Give the book a plug.
Everyone hated going after Peter because they're like, I can't top that.
Oh yeah, I think I did go first. It's called Paper Cranes Don't Fly. Available online, some bookstores, I think. But yeah,
I've read it.
Oh, thanks.
I'm waiting for my signed copy. I'm not sure what else we can do. You got your own podcast. You got your face on a tram. I'll order one and I'll get you to sign it. Jess, you've got Daria here from GradWISE. What about if there's other senior talent leaders for other organisations that have got the chance to chat to Daria about GradWISE? What would be some questions you think they might want to ask?
I think it's probably just around the support that you can offer. I'll admit it was a bit of a learning curve sometimes, particularly with myself, with Peter. Like we've had to adjust a little few things in the office. We've just got an automated door put in because we realised that actually it wasn't as accessible as we would assume one of these modern fancy offices are.
Yeah.
So it's a work in progress, and we're constantly like learning little things that we need to adjust to make sure that we are an accessible workplace. So yeah, I guess it's just understanding what support is out there that can help us.
Yeah, so I think what some employers don't know about is the support that we can provide once someone is placed into employment. I mean, the recruitment side is one aspect, and a lot of the work that we do is actually kind of front end with the student in helping them to build their competitive portfolio and get them ready. But there's also a lot that can happen during recruitment and post. So we do a determination of reasonable adjustments with every single one of our students and graduates. So they come already set with a range of supports that might help them either through the recruitment process or in the workplace. We also have, as part of our employer notification pack, a behavioural profile. We affectionately call it the GradWISE selfie. I think it sounds a little bit kinder, but it's a little bit of a get to know yourself, get your coach to get to know you, and get your employer to get to know you tool. And it helps the employer to understand best working styles, best communication styles, best team dynamics, and how to really get the best out of that individual and set up the right conditions for success. It's kind of like a cheat sheet, because obviously it takes some time, as you said yourself, to get to know an individual and get them set up properly. But if you have some handy guides that will help you with that, it just makes that process so much smoother. And as Peter said, it's change is hard. And adjusting to a new workplace can be difficult. Adjusting to full-time work for the first time is hard as well. There's a lot of fatigue that comes into play, and also helping to get to know what part of that is normal and what part of that is not and may require some modification. That's where really we come into play. But there's also so much support available externally that we can help you link up employers to, such as funding through job access, for workplace modifications. I think that can be a little bit of a scary thing for some employers. They think, okay, accessibility, that means we have to spend. But actually, there's so much support out there, and we can make that linking process a lot easier as well.
So you talked about partnering with customers, you talked about partnering with universities. Do we partner with employers?
Yes, absolutely.
I should probably know the answer to that question.
Absolutely, we do.
So what would be your encouragement if and they don't have to be a large multinational consultancy either. I know there's a number of smaller organisations that I've been speaking. I was in WA last week, heading over to Adelaide later in the week to chat more about their Disability Employment Service Program and how GradWISE is working in with them. What's the advice for a senior recruitment manager from another company that might be listening and thinking, you know what, I might give Daria and GradWISE a call?
Yeah, we partner with all organisation types and of various sizes as well, state-based and federal-based organisations, public service and private companies as well. So I suppose if the needs are around accessibility, around connecting to diverse talent, making recruitment practices more equitable, seeking advice, even just to consult with an organisation, a community organisation that specialises in disability and graduate recruitment, we're the place to go.
Parting is such sweet sorrow, Pete, but I will see you again. I'm happy to come and host you a day on the tram with Pete and do a book signing. Get other celebrities down there. Jess, you've been great. Daria, brilliant as always. Enjoy the Olympics. I know you'll be watching rhythmic gymnastics and synchronised swimming.
From the tram.
From the tram. Let's watch the video if we can, Brad. We'll close out with the video. Look, this is the big day, Pete. We'll get you a copy of this if you haven't had it. Hello, here we go. Look at the colours of the tram. Ooh. Just beautiful. There's Pete. Big bonce. Everyone in high vis. The big boss was there. They were all there for you, Pete. You're a legend, mate.
No, thanks.
Thanks so much for giving of your time.
No, thank you.